Hi, my name is Luz Javier, and this week we got to read Chapter 8, which was Public Administration, Budgeting, and Service Delivery. So, with that being said, we get to see this kind of trend in which public administration has greatly improved over the decades. And that includes government and budgeting. Budgeting, of course, has increased with the new employment, and we see that state and locals have more employments, and the raise of budgeting really does help the community because we get to see more things into our people, and that is like overwhelmingly well for us. um Interest groups, agencies, the chief executive, and the legislative body are the four principles of actors that budget. They are mostly the ones that are involved in it and decide whether the money goes this place or some other place. Budgeting tends to expand or contradict increasingly. So that just means that, of course, our budgeting is increasing as time progresses because we do need more stuff as an overall society, and that just helps us continue to improve upon the different morals and principles that we hold as a whole. And we get to see affirmative actions, which is a very important principle as we get to read this chapter and how that really administers the different agencies. It really does lead in a gain in advancements of minorities and women in state and local governments. But it can also be very controversial depending on who you speak to and depending the things that it really does administer, because I do think that people, of course, get to see like this kind of change, and that's when new dilemmas may again begin to increase. Just to let people know, affirmative action is special efforts to recruit, hire, and promote members of disadvantaged groups to eliminate the effects of past discrimination, which again can have positive and negative outbacks. Another thing we got to see in this chapter was how the government gets to connect to us through via the internet and use those kind of platforms to really make the people feel more at welcome, especially with our society progressing into a more technological area in which everything is really in technology. In order to apply for jobs, college, or schools, it's usually online and not as much on paper. I really want to talk about sexual harassment in public agencies. I think that this is a very important thing that we're working on because we do see this kind of gap in between men and women, and in order to fix that, we have to talk about it. We have to address these kinds of issues in which women are being sexually harassed by their male coworkers and those above them in order to feed into the space, or at least increase in the workplace. When many women may think that in order to like elevate or become or go in a higher position, they have to do stuff that they don't want to, and that's something that we need to speak upon, especially moving into this more progressive society, and overall trying to make women feel more comfortable working with men and seeing that this is something that needs to be changed. In my opinion, I've never experienced sexual harassment thing in a workplace because I've had great coworkers who, whenever they see these kinds of issues, they address it, and it really does make me feel welcome. However, I think that for anyone who is in this kind of situation, it's important to like move away from it, or at least speak up upon it and see the kind of things that they can change in order to kind of welcome these different changes and seek that kind of particular help or aid from those around them, because overall workplace should not have you doing the stuff that you don't want to do, especially if it makes you very uncomfortable. The overall idea of this chapter is really how the public works and how we budget and services and how that all kind of collides together to create this kind of intricate system that benefits both the public and the government. So, with that being said, I think this is important because again, budgeting and sexual harassment and the government using technology and affirmative action all impact us at the end, and that's just very influential to our society and how we continue to make modification and changes to the way we work. After that, I think it really much covers up everything that I've spoken upon, and thank you again for hearing me out on my chapter recap.